country. K-Fox, Night Beat, Nastiness.
You know what? You're going to listen from 5 to midnight. Just turn it on and don't stop. DJ Alibaba, the underground surround sound start time with Paul Pearson.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson.
Sunday evening sound sessions on Rainier Avenue Radio. Trust me, you'll be listening the entire time from 5 to midnight. Sunday evening, your sound session on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all her clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello. Oh, Tina's on the phone. Can you guys hear me? Welcome to Real Estate and Money. I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott, Kent North. And my partner, Tina Lombard, is on a conference call, maybe. But she's going to join us real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and start. I just wanted to say it's a beautiful sunny day here in Seattle, 53 degrees outside, and feels kind of warmer than that if you're in the sun. But I wanted to start with our market update. Today I had a sales meeting at John L. Scott, and my takeaway, a few things. Mortgage rates came down about 0.5% last week, and it's now at 6.65%. I don't know what Tina has to say about that, but we're now at stage 6 cycle in our housing cyclical market, and that means it's slowing down. It's wintertime, so but there's still some houses out there that are coming on the market, and still buyers out there looking to buy a home and get in before the holidays. So let me take a look at the inventory counts for you for King County. We have 601 homes active since this is from November 1st till now. 579 homes have been sold, and at the average price of $1,013,000. And last year at the same time, $1,149,000 is what we were selling in the market at, just slightly higher last year. And then in Pierce County, we had 303 homes go on the market, active listings, and sold inventory of 361 at an average price of $599,000, and last year it was 609. So pretty close, about 99% there. And then in Snohomish County, we are looking at 223 homes that actively listed in the past several weeks. 240 have been sold in that same time period at an average price of $768,000. Last year, a little bit higher, 95% higher, something like that. $836,000 was the average sales price. As far as showings to listing, it's a little bit slower now that we're in stage 6 of our cyclical market. But again, there are homes, if you're looking to buy, there's not a lot of multiple offers. There are contingency offers that are out there being taken a look at. And there are sellers that are motivated to get into a mutual agreement with a buyer so that, both sides, taxes, got to consider taxes, end of year taxes. So there are motivated sellers reducing some of the prices too. Now, house prices are dropping a little bit, but the equity of your home is still growing. and a little bit slower pace, but still growing in equity. So there you have it. That's my market update for the metro area, let's say King, Pierce, Snohomish counties. All right. Is Tina back?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry. I had somebody I was chatting with on the phone, and my new laptop is 3 minutes behind. I'm like, oh my God, it's 3:33.
3 minutes behind. No, are we behind an hour?
No, I was, but my laptop is behind by 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm like, love you, gotta go. So I'm doing a TV show right now. I have to go. But
So
yes.
what's going on?
So you know what? It's beautiful weather out here. Everything is turning. The leaves have turned orange and they have fallen on the ground. And I think we got our last winter storm a couple of days ago. It actually was about 1 or 2 inches of snow on our ground this morning, and it's still out there. There's still snow out there.
Wow.
So, you know, I know today's show, we're going to be talking about winterizing your home. And we're going to be talking about how to get prepared for the strong, cold winter months. So I couldn't have picked a better day to do this subject and this topic on our show.
Yes, we got to get going on some stuff. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to our landscape crew, and I said, you know, do we at some point winterize our sprinkler system? And apparently I've missed it.
Oh, okay.
They didn't tell me because, you know, this is a new home for us, right? And I was just thinking, yeah, we're doing the winterizing thing. Is sprinkler systems one of them? Well, apparently so, but they've already done it and they're moving on to other things.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that because I think I lived in my house. I bought my house in December and I moved in January. I didn't even know I had a sprinkler system till the next year. But I mean, you know, but the thing is, you know, the people who had left, who owned the house previously, they had turned off the water. They had turned off the sprinkler system. And, you know, I was out there just spraying my plants with water. And my boyfriend's like, isn't there a better way? Are you the only one in the neighborhood that doesn't have a sprinkler system? I'm like, I don't know. So I look in the garage and there's this digital panel, you know, that's hooked up to the weather and all this kind of craziness. And so it's like space age stuff.
Yeah.
So, and so I had to actually turn my, I turned it on. And when the wintertime comes, and I'll talk about it later, but you have to turn it off. You have to make sure that you wrap all your pipes and, you know, you turn the weather so that it doesn't try to water, you know, it doesn't try to override you or anything like that. But yes, it's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yes. So, well, let me talk really briefly about interest rates really quick. So I know that's on everybody's mind. You know, I've been avoiding putting the mortgage rates up in the last couple of weeks, only because they are so volatile. And they've been changing as soon as I put something up before the show's even ended. Those mortgage rates have been changing. So they went as high as like 7.875 last week. And then Thursday, some more news came out regarding inflation and all the different factors that played into that. And it looks like we overcompensated as far as correcting the economy. So the rates rallied and rates went down from like 7.625 down to like 6.8 that afternoon.
Yeah,
of course, we're recouping. I mean, rates never go up and they never go down straight like that. They usually go like this. So when you see something that goes down a little bit, you know, you want to go ahead and lock your loan there before it goes back up. So it'll go up. It'll go like this, like this, like this. So if you know it's trending up, if it goes down a little bit, that's when you strike, and then it keeps going up. So they're saying that the Fed wants to, there's discussion about them raising the rates again in December, another 0.75. And we're trying to say, no, please just, you know, raise it 0.50. So they're thinking about doing that. So if you're thinking about buying a house, it's still a very good time to buy. Don't worry about the rates. There are very constructive ways of moving your rate. Let's say if your rate's at 7%, there are what's called 2-1 buy downs. And that's where you pay 2 points and your rate goes down by 2 points the first year. So if the rate is at 7%, your first year, you will have 5%. The second year, it'll be at 6%. And then the year after that, it'll go back to 7. But in those 2 years' time, perhaps the interest rates do drop in general as a whole, and you could probably refinance before you even get back to 7%. But that's a way of making people feel comfortable of getting a lower rate up front and being safe in case the rates do go back down. So there's ways to go around it. The biggest thing is if you can get a house for sale right now, because the houses have gone down in price due to the higher interest rates, if you can get a house at a steal, then grab it. There are houses now on the market for $450,000, $480,000, $525,000, where last year they were all at $650,000. And there were 20 people making an offer in the same house. But if you look in parts of Federal Way, if you look at parts of, north of Seattle, parts south of Seattle, and South King County, and Pierce County, you'll be able to find something that is maybe in the $400 range, maybe in the $500 range, and there's probably not a lot of people to compete with. And if you can get a home at, let's say, $500,000 at 7%, that may outweigh getting a house at 3.5% when the price is $680,000. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're going to be paying less for a house, even though the rates are a little high, you're going to be paying less. But if the rates continue to go down, you're going to have the house at a good price. If the rates continue to go down, of course, if you buy a house now, the likelihood of that house being worth a lot more in the spring is going to give you more equity. So buy the house. Don't worry about your payments, forever. You qualify right now. Just, get that interest rate, get that house, because when rates do start moving back down, you can always refinance. So
Tina, can you explain to people what that 2-1 buy down, how much is it going to cost them to buy down points?
It's usually 2 points. So if you buy a house, let's say buy a house at $700,000 and you put $100,000 down, and so the house is $600,000 loan. 1 point of $600,000 is $6,000. 2 points is $12,000.
Okay.
And what we're finding right now is that the sellers are willing to pay those 2 points for the client. The sellers are willing to negotiate and say, listen, okay, we'll give you the house for $612,000. Okay, we'll give you the $12,000. So a lot of sellers will do that. I know Washington State, besides the last 4 or 5 years, sellers accustomedly always gave closing costs. There's always some consideration when it's a buyer's market. So don't be afraid to ask. A lot of my realtors right now are pricing it into the homes when they're listing it. They're telling the sellers, listen, we're going to list the house for $700,000. If somebody asks us for a 2-point buy down, we're selling. Otherwise, if nobody can afford this, we're going to have to lower the price to $680,000 or $675,000. Let's just give them $700,000 and tell them we're going to give them enough points to buy that rate down for a 2-1 buy down. So if you're with a savvy lender, they can walk you through this. A 2-1 buy down, a 3-2-1 buy down is something we did back in the day when interest rates were 6, 7, 8, 9%. Of course, in the last 10 years, rates have always been at 3.5 or 2 or 4. And so that conversation has never really came up because everybody was doing a 30-year fix. They were happy with 3%. Who cares? But now that the rates are getting back to where they normally are, these little tricks of the trade will come into play. So, if you are a first-time home buyer, you want to lean on somebody else's experience, and you want to really, really, really have an experienced loan officer, an experienced realtor. If you're somebody who's bought your 3rd, 4th, 5th house, then maybe you can navigate more clearly, and you could bring up these old products to your lender and kind of direct them. But there are ways, V, if somebody says, okay, I know I can afford it, V. I know I can afford $900,000. I don't want to pay the payment on $900,000. I want a 5% rate. Then the first thing you need to say is, okay, great. Let's look at a 2-1 buy down because maybe that'll interest you. And if we can get the seller to pay for that buy down, it's a win-win situation. But if the prices if the price goes up of that house, it goes up the next 6 months by another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Get the house now. I don't care if it's 7%, 18%. I don't care. Just get the house and then talk about rates when you're in the house and you've got the equity and the title underneath your name.
Before we go to the half, can you talk about HOAs? Is there a way for buyers of who sets those HOA dues? And is there any way to get around it or have something happen with that so that it would be less? during
Okay, and that's a very good question. V is asking a very, very important question. For those who are interested in condos, they usually come with a homeowners associations agreement. And that is an agreement that actually all of the homeowners in that condo participate in. And that pays for things like the outer insurance of the condo itself, the exterior insurance. It pays for easements. It pays for common areas. It pays for swimming pools, hot tubs, basketball courts, the maintenance and the upkeep that somebody has to take care of. And it's something that's a pool. Really, you cannot go in there and say, okay, I don't want to pay $450 a month. I want to pay only $300. You really can't do that. You can't go up there and you can't tell the lender, listen, I've got a chunk of money. I'm going to put down 3 years worth of homeowners association dues up front. You can't do that. That is something that we cannot control, just like your property taxes.
Right.
You really can't control your property taxes. When you look at a condo and the condo is, a $525 a month homeowners association and it doesn't fit your budget, then you're just going to have to move on because the HOA is something that we can control. A lot of times the condo association people cannot control that. The people who actually live in the house cannot. And it's a form of management. You can get on the condo board, you can advocate for the homeowner association's dues to resource the vendors and make the payments go down. But that is a fight that you're not going to get done in 30 days. So HOAs, it's very important if you're at a point where you can get a condo, let's say at $400,000, a beautiful condo, or you can get a house at $650,000. You're going to have to really look at the condo and find out what the HOAs are, because an HOA is going to cut into your amount of approval.
Yes.
So, if you, a lot of people say, well, I'm going to go for a condo at $500,000 instead of getting a house at $500,000 because it's cheaper. Well, with that HOA at $450,000, you might as well get a house at $700,000 because it's the same payment.
Yes.
We also look at your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. With condos, we look at principal and interest, taxes and insurance, and homeowners association dues. You see what I'm saying? So, but you have to qualify for either or. So, looking for a condo, the first thing you want to ask is, great, this condo is $200,000. What are the homeowner association dues? And if those homeowner association dues are $650 a month, then it kind of strikes out the value of buying a condo. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something new, folks, you need to pay attention to if you are considering a condo. Yeah, I don't want to deal with a yard and winterizing a yard and a house. And so, I'll do a condo. So
yeah, and I feel a lot of people. My girlfriend wants to buy a high-rise condo here in, kind of outskirts of Denver, and she's like, "Girl, I'm not cutting nobody's yard. I'm not raking, and I'm not doing any of that stuff. I want to go home, jump in the hot tub, do the community theater, and that makes a lot of sense." And I said, "Hey, that's great. You can do that, but as long as we can put the homeowners association dues into your qualification, you're fine." So, and that it makes perfect sense, especially if you're somebody who travels a lot or you're, like a single person who does not have a green thumb, then a condo makes perfect sense. And a high rise, makes perfect sense. Just make sure that you cannot negotiate those homeowners association dues. That is a cost that you cannot get around.
Okay. Thank you, Tina. So before we talk about all the busy stuff you have ahead of you for the winter, let's go on a break.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Great. So we're, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about winterizing your home. And so like we teased about earlier is that when the winter comes, the outside of your house, the inside of your house, there are certain things that you want to do to take care and maintain your house.
Okay, let's start outside.
Great. I have a list, V. Do you have a list too? Or
yeah, we can go back and forth.
Okay.
One of the things I have is check your gutters. Make sure all those dead leaves and all that stuff is cleared out. If you're tall enough, you can reach up and grab those leaves, but make sure it's done. It'll just, you won't have clogged downspouts, and, it could be trouble next spring.
Right.
Go ahead. Anything else on that? Gutters?
Well, I have a list that I sent to Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we pull that
let's
up
see.
really quick, Daniel? Now this is, and it's funny because you do want to bring lists up because you're going to forget. You're going to forget.
Yeah.
You got Christmas decorations, you got turkeys burning in the ovens. So it's good for you to have a list of what you're going to do. So so we have a list here, and one of the things is 14 ways of winterizing your home, and this is for, of course, the winter. And one of the first things you want to do is protect your pipes. So I have exposed pipes, especially if you have a sprinkler system, V. There's somewhere around the back of your house where there's exposed piping. You want to cover those pipes either with towels, or here we've got styrofoam piping. So make sure you cover your pipes and your faucets.
Yeah, and the faucets, yes.
Yep. And
so take off the hoses, right? Roll them up, put them away. You're not going to use the garden hoses this winter.
They're not decorative. They're not decorative. Okay.
Cover up those faucets. Yes.
And then you have add weather stripping. So you want to make sure that you add weather stripping to your doors and your windows, just that extra piece. Now, what I do also in the wintertime, my Filipino mother taught me this. I go to the fabric store and I buy sheets of plastic, clear plastic. And I buy yards of that, and I put them actually on my windows. I just put them around my windows, and they actually also insulate. So insulate your doors and your windows. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Thank you. And the next thing we have here is check your fireplace. A lot of times people try to, they don't know that the fireplace is open, especially if you buy a new home. If you do have a chimney that's dated, you want to make sure that the chutes are closing properly. You want to make sure there's no nests in there, no birds in there, or any animals. Otherwise, you won't even know when you feel something that's burning and something's clogged. And V, I have done it before. I've lit up my fireplace and didn't realize something was clogged and smoke started coming in the house. So make sure you check your fireplace.
Was it a pigeon that fell down the chimney?
I think it was like rats or something. They were like building nests or something. It was like the secret of lymph up in there. It was like, yes. It was like, yeah. So now I have a gas fireplace, which makes life very easy.
Yes.
And those also, you can have them maintained. Okay. And what's next there, Daniel? So also here it says to clean the gutters, and that's something that seems easy enough. But right here you've got a protective gutter covering, but you want to make sure you go up there and just simply, even with a ladder, even if you have to pay a handyman to get up there, clean those gutters out, because sometimes they will clog up stuff and they can cause pooling in your roof. And you don't want to have other situations. You don't want to have your gutters leaking and all that fun stuff, because it puts the water in the wrong place. So make sure you clear your gutters. Okay. And then what's next there, Daniel? The next thing we have here is block the cold. So make sure you insulate anything, any piping, anything, any vents or anything you have around the house where cold air can be seeping in. You may want to caulk that, make sure it's surrounded with insulation. So block the cold. And the next thing there. Okay, it says get a programmable thermostat. So I have a thermostat just like that, and I program it on my phone, and it's really nice because it'll tell you how many degrees it is. So if you are away, if you're going to leave for 4 days, you can program your thermostat. You can program it to turn back on before you get in. But a lot of times when you're sleeping, you don't want to get up in the middle of the night. Make sure your thermostat goes to 68 degrees at midnight, and then goes back to 70 or 85 or whatever at 7 a.m. in the morning. But get something programmable.
Yes.
Next thing there, you've got protect your plants. So there are a lot of outdoor plants that you can actually keep throughout the year. You want to bring some of those in and make sure that they are heated. Don't leave all your potted plants outside. There you go. And then bring in the outdoors. So a lot of people don't realize this, but they're lawn chairs and their barbecues, so on and so forth. You want to make sure that they come in. Lawn chairs will not last or hold through the winters here in Colorado. So we have to cover it with a tarp.
Yeah.
We've got gazebos, fabricated gazebos. Make sure you take those umbrellas down and you put the somewhere in storage, but get them out of the cold. They will not withstand the cold.
Yes.
Okay. And then next year, we've got maintain your outdoor equipment. So make sure your rakes, everything is maintained because, you're going to need them even in the wintertime to shovel snow and so on and so forth. Make sure everything's accounted for, because as soon as spring breaks, you're going to be using them. Okay. What's the next thing there we've got? Annual, we've got save your energy bills. Okay, save on your energy bills. Now remember, if you've got lamps in there, if you've got 100, what is it called? 100% watts, whatever, 100 watts on all your light bulbs, probably not necessary. Okay, right. So go through your house and see if you've got some light bulbs that can be changed, or if there's some lights that do not have to be used throughout the year. So unplug what is not necessary and do a double check on your light bulbs.
LED light bulbs.
LED. Make your furnace more efficient. So just make sure right here, if you've got areas of the house that you do not really use, like maybe a guest room or somewhere that you just don't use, if you can go in there and turn those vents block those vents so that the heat is actually shot to the rooms in which you do need heat. So make sure your furnace is more efficient. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's maintained. Some furnaces take, every 5 years or 10 years, you want to make sure that the pilot light and everything is clean. So make sure you maintain and make.
Is it every 6 months change your filter?
Oh, gosh.
Every year?
Yes, it's the air filter on your furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Mine actually, with my thermostat, it actually emails me every 6 months and says time to change it, and will not shut off until I change it. Yeah, so
there you go.
Yes,
love that.
Yes. So what's next, Daniel? Okay, be roof ready. So, make sure you look at your roof, make sure there's no cracks or dents, or in Colorado, we have a lot of hailstorms. Some things go unnoticed, but when we do have these hailstorms here are so fierce, they actually will destroy your car. They will destroy your car. They'll
dance all over your car.
They're as big as softballs, and they'll come right through your house. So, they'll get into your roof and you won't notice that you have a hole in your roof until spring comes, and all of a sudden you're flooded and there's leaking and everything else. So inspect your roof if you can. Make sure there's nothing there. Protect your windows from heat loss. And like I said before, I get clear plastic and I put it over my windows. If you don't do that, make sure you've got curtains that actually hold in the heat. There are curtains that have the what is it called? Thermolated or what have you. They hold in heat and they keep out the cold.
Good.
So protect your windows. Time to stock up. Now, this is the last thing we have on here. But if you go down just a little bit more, Daniel, there's a list of different things. We're out of time? Oh, no, we're not. Are we out of time? Okay.
Yeah, we are out of time.
So anyways, it talks about snow shovel, ice scrapers, that sort of thing. So make sure that you've got everything stocked up for winter. You don't want to be going to Home Depot after a storm. And there's
de-icing salt. Have that
handy. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's it. And next week we have an interview with an HVAC guy.
Yes.
We'll talk about how to winterize your heating, cooling system, ventilation, all that. So tune in next Tuesday at 2:30. Real Estate Money. We'll see you then. I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott.
Yes, Daniel. Yes, Daniel. This is why we're having the show. Yes.
Okay.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune in to our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream home.
Thank you. Thanks, Daniel.